Hi, folks. Everything new under the sun. Isaiah 17 is one of the prophecies that is coming, kind of the next thing on the list to occur. And this is coming from War News 247. Um, Israel has ended communication with Russia. That is massive in and of itself. Once communication stops, folks, that means you are officially at war. There is no more discussions. There's no more, I'll give you this for that sort of a thing. There's no more bartering and agreement on any peace ceasefires or friendly passage through skies, that sort of thing, or agreements for Israel to do any airstrikes in Syria. Communication has apparently ended. Readiness in the F-35 squadrons for Syria and Lebanon. And of course, we got Nasrallah. Now, he didn't declare war, but he came out and said, you know what, civilian for civilian is what it will be. And if Israel continues, they will be ready to open up a new front in Israel. Now, Isaiah 17, this is interesting. U.S. has intelligence that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has agreed to provide Hezbollah with a Russian-made surface-to-air SA-22 missile system. So Bashar Assad, he hasn't been in the news very much. His seat of power is Damascus and a small area surrounding Damascus, I do believe, at this point in time. He doesn't control most of the country. Most of the country is controlled by U.S., Russian terrorist forces, etc. And, of course, we know that Israel has bombed many, many times airports on the outskirts of Damascus because Iran is shuffling armaments, ammunition, that sort of thing to its terror proxies. Well, Bashar Assad apparently is entering the fight and offering to give a missile defense system, surface to air, to Hezbollah. This is a game changer. This means that Bashar Assad's seat of power, which is Damascus proper, is now in the crosshairs. If they join the fight, Israel will take them out. And apparently, the Russian mercenary group, the Wagner group, is tasked with transferring this surface-to-air missile system to Hezbollah from Bashar Assad. So this is the involvement, of Bashar Assad, which brings all of Damascus into the fight. If this opens up, Israel will have no choice but to go after Damascus, take the seat of power out there to prevent this transfer of the surface-to-air missile system. This is huge. And they're not talking to Russia anymore. That means Russia's not going to open corridors, potentially, for Israel to do airstrikes it needs. Not only that, Russia has allowed Iran a passage through its airport up above Lebanon in Syria. And so this is a part of the reason why communications are shut off now. So Israel closed all communications with Russia after Moscow's move to give Maiman Air Base to Iran for resupplying Hezbollah. Again, Israel's been going after the airport south of Damascus, bombing them one after another. That's because that's how Iran was resupplying its proxy terrorist organizations. Well, now Iran is going to be shuffling all their equipment through this Maiman air base, in theory, under Russian protection, under Russian air defense systems. And again, this means that Israel is at war with Russia. Israel is at war with Iran. Israel is at war with Syria, i.e. Bashar Assad, whose castle, whatever it may be, is in Damascus, his seat of power. And this is the Isaiah 17 destruction of Damascus prophecy. And when that happens, that will be the hook in the jaw for Ezekiel 38 and 39, which is the move of Russia, Iran, Turkey, and other allied nations into Israel because of that strike. And Bashar Assad does have security agreements with Russia. Russia and Israel, to date for many years have been coming to agreement on, what can Israel strike in Syria, what can't it strike. And the red line has always been if you do anything to, take out a Russian soldier, well, then that's a declaration of war against Russia. Well, now they're basically, giving Israel no other choice but to strike a direct Russian air base, Air Force base in Syria. So that is huge. That is huge, I will say. This is your hedge. Hezbollah chief, U.S. directly responsible for Gaza atrocities will soon pay a heavy price. So they're going to go after U.S. Are they going to hit U.S. soldiers in the region, in Iraq? They're already doing that. Is this maybe the triggering of sleeper cells in North America, in the West? Are we going to see some significant uprisings and horrendous events, throughout the West, whether it be I'm not even going to start saying any sorts of comments about where it could be or where it could happen, but any significant gathering would potentially be a target. Now, secret services and intelligence agencies in the U.S. have already been warning about this possibility. And folks, this is getting real. All options on the table for Hezbollah. It's the U.S.'s fault. If you wish to steer away from a regional war, you must end the war on Gaza. This front will develop according to developments in Gaza. That's kind of what everybody's saying, and of course, Yemen has already declared war, basically. They're saying, we don't care about the U.S. warships in the region. They're describing a larger regional war, and if they do, Hezbollah will come out with all guns a-blazing. The fleet in the Mediterranean, speaking of the warships there that the U.S. has amassed, does not put fear in the hearts of Hezbollah, apparently, according to them. So Hezbollah attacks have forced Israel to pull military assets. So because Israel has multiple fronts, they have to protect sets of civilians in different locations. It spreads out their army, the IDF. And so they don't have as many forces to go into Gaza, for example. And this is exactly why Hezbollah gets into the battle. Here's a short bullet list of what came from Bloomberg related to Hezbollah's speech. We have to be ready for present and present for all future possibilities. It says attacks on Israel near borders is very big from our side and very important. It says the group is aware of it's taking a risk in the daily border attacks, in terms of response from Israel. Israel is going to have to deploy heavily on the Lebanon border, and that's going to take away from their ability to do what they need to in Gaza. He says, Nasrallah says the attack was a purely Palestinian decision. So he's saying, it didn't come from or from Hamas. It didn't come from Iran or Hezbollah. It wasn't coordinated. I don't know why you would try and suggest that to be true, but it doesn't make any sense. Obviously Iran had some sort of part in this. The U.S. is directly responsible, so look for terror attacks on U.S. assets, whether in the region or abroad. And he says Israel will fail to wipe out Hamas. That is probably true. And of course, he praises the martyrs for dying. This is what they train and indoctrinate their soldiers from effectively birth to die for the cause of Islam. But their way of dying is to take people out with them. Whereas from the Christian point of view, our point is that, we will effectively not kill other people, and we will be willing to be killed for the cause of Christ. So that's kind of the difference between their religion and our faith. Now when it comes to war and whether Christians should join war and kill other people, that's a whole other discussion. And it says Hamas's attack showed Israel's vulnerabilities and weakness. And again, I point to this weakness, how they got in for 7 hours, how they got past all the cameras, through all the fences with no response from police or military. None of that adds up to me, folks. Israel's not perfect. Israel is a secular nation. Probably most of their military is secular. I submit to you my opinion on this. I think they let that happen because the war had been simmering for a long time. They needed a real excuse to go in there. I wish this wasn't the case, but they needed a real excuse. They needed public opinion to be swayed to their side. And one or two civilians, it hurts for the families, but it's not going to cause the public opinion of the country to be moved to go to war against Hamas in such a big fashion. You need a 9/11 style or size event to get everybody together, get a common enemy into view, distract everybody, and point them all in the same direction so that the country can go into kind of a war measures situation and go to war and get a larger job done with the permission of the public, of the civilians, the voting public. And as terrible as it sounds, I submit to you, and it's not right, but I submit to you that that's what happened there. They let this go on just enough to where they had enough casualties, they figured, to be able to go in and do a large invasion of Gaza and kind of quote-unquote take care of business as they thought they needed to do. It doesn't make any sense with their technology, with all the cameras, with all the equipment, all the army, and even intelligence officers have come out, several of them, saying, we saw this coming. We relayed information up to higher levels, and nothing was done about it. So, folks, there's something nefarious going on there. It's not right, but I think in the space of public opinion, unfortunately, you need a public opinion on your side. And for that to happen, you need people to be focused and for there to be enough shock and awe that gets people aligned with a common enemy so that they can proceed. The same happened during the pandemic. They scared us, lots of scare tactics, millions and millions of deaths are expected, and this is a extinction level event. And what did it do? It scared us. It got it all focused, all of the same minds, that we were fighting the same battle, and our attention was removed from other things, don't look here, look over there sort of thing, and to get us all going in the same direction. And that's what happened for 99% of people in the world. They were taken by mainstream media. You just need to convince people and get them focused in a direct area. And anyways, I'm babbling on, but I think that's what happened. So I'll leave there, guys. Significant that Israel has stopped communications with Russia. Look out, folks. When the history books are written, they will have said that World War III likely started at the beginning of the Ukraine War, or it was initiated by that and kind of escalated into the situation in Israel. And I think the history books will record that indeed, when you look back on it, we, as we speak now, are in the middle of World War III. Just the beginning of it. Hasn't rolled out significantly in terms of the rest of the world, the Western world, but it is underway. And it gets to the point of nuclear weapons being dropped, I believe. I believe the Bible speaks to that, to get us to a point where we are also desperate, where we accept a world leader, and I've said this before, we accept a world government, a world leader, an antichrist. We accept a world currency, and we head straight into the 7-year period. But we have to be absolutely desperate on our knees, calling for a savior to help us. And at that time, Satan will pop his head up and raise up a particular person to be that world leader that we will have to pledge allegiance to. Stay focused, folks. Things are happening fast. You need to be prepared. But ultimately, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So what you need to do, the most important thing, is have faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. Know that you are saved, that you will know that your position in the afterlife, in eternity, is solid, and that you will be with Jesus Christ when you pass over. It's inevitable. We're all going to die. So you need to straighten that out first, and that's the biggest thing, to get your faith in order, your salvation done. And today is a day of salvation, so find Jesus Christ today.